right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is Moms Off Mute. Jordan is here again with two guests. Jana is back. Guten Tag.
Guten Tag, good morning.
Welcome back. Today we have Jana joined by Dara. She is a mom creator in the greater Dallas area. Go Texas. I'm having the both of you all here today to talk about mom creators, not just because Dara is a mom creator, but also like the reasons why moms create. And you all both have something in common, being single parents of boys in this digital age, which is a unique perspective. And I can also say for myself, being a digital parent to my son versus being a digital parent to my daughter are very different. Obviously, kids are very different in general, but the society that we live in treats them very differently. So there's different ways that you have to parent boys versus girls online and in real life. So welcome, Dara.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So just want to start full circle moment. Jana, the last time you were on,
There we go.
we talked about being a digital parent, but also like meeting people online, dating, teaching your son good ways to like date in real life and online. And your homework was to download Duet. And guess what? I got Duet from Dara. So I have a question for the both of you. When's the last time you had a Duet date or a Bumble date or a Tinder date? Like, did you download the app, Jana?
No.
Oh, no!
I wanted to, and then I decided, no, I'm not ready. So I just needed another mom, me, just myself moment. So I give myself another week or so till I feel ready. It's an emotional thing. I can't. It's not just an app. It's not just putting your life out there. It's just you have to be emotional available at the same time. I'm just not there right now.
Yeah,
that's fair. What about you, Dara? Have you been on the Duet? Do people call it that?
I mean, I was on it and I'm off of it now because I met someone.
Ooh. Oh my gosh!
I'm very smitten too. He's wonderful.
Oh, okay. More to come, but I love this. Shout out to Duet for connecting people. Meet this person on Duet?
I did.
Ooh.
Oh, look at that.
I met him after I'm an avid downloader and deleter. So like I'll download an app and someone will like ick me out. And so I'll delete it for a little while. And then I happen to just re-download it back again. And that's when I met him from the second go round.
I love this. Well, more to come. We'll have you back and we can talk about dating safely online and in the real world.
Yes.
But for now, thank you for that. Jana, your homework is to still, when you are emotionally ready, put yourself out there as a digital parent and, date. And
I need the kick in the butt, honestly. So it's just, procrastinating the things you don't want to do. We're not that much different from our kids.
I'm happy to go up north, take the train, and give you an actual kick in the butt and download it for you.
As long as you have a bottle of rosé in your left hand while doing it, up for it.
I never come empty-handed. Wine o'clock is a clock at any time of the day. So I understand. You're German. I bring the alcohol at all times. Amazing. So good stuff. What mom content have you all seen lately on any social media platform that either gave you the ick and why, or like you were like, that was really quality mom content, or you can just shout out somebody who has really quality mom content and why you think it's quality mom content other than yourself, Dara?
Well, of course, all my friends. I have a lot of mom content friends. So
oh, that's fun.
Shout out to Jasmine and Julie. And my friend Miriam. They all are very different in the way they create content, and I love like every part of it.
What sets your content apart from theirs in a way that like you love to see it, other than like, of course, supporting your friends online?
I think I am obviously single. When I'm not a single parent, but like I am a single. They're all married. So they all have
Oh,
husbands and I'm
interesting.
single. So I add a little bit of just like that part of my life. It's very different when you're single, and I also co-parent when they all have their kids all the time. So, it looks different. They also all have multiple kids and I only have one kid. My son and I's relationship is very close. Like we do a lot of fun things together, and there's things that you can do when you just have one child sometimes that I've recognized that you can't do when you have multiple children. It's harder. We're outside a lot. Me and my child are outside a lot, doing things, traveling, going places. And so I think that he's a little bit more present maybe in my content than my other friends because their kids are also younger.
Okay. And how does that like play in your content? Like, do you share that relationship through your mom content? What makes you want to share this content from your own like personal perspective versus like them sharing their perspective?
I think just for me, I remember when I found out I was pregnant, the biggest thing is I didn't want to lose myself. I am very active, like going outside, doing things, traveling. I'm like always with my friends, always with my family. And I just didn't want when I had a child to stop that. And so I very much share that as a mom, like you don't have to be just wrapped up in your kid all the time. You can also, do things without them, but also enjoying parenting. I think that's what I kind of bring maybe to the content realm. Like I really enjoy parenting and it shows through my content.
That is very true. Like I will say that like I know you on a personal level, but like watching your content, it genuinely makes me smile. And I love watching that. Like, yes, I love also seeing people who like take the mask off and it's not like trad wife content online of like everything is great, everything is that. Like you're not like sugarcoating it, but you're also just showing that like your kid is a person. You're just like hanging out with another person and bonding with this person that also just happens to be your kid. And I love that. And there's like a balance of that content. And I love to see that. Yana, what about you? Do you post your kid online or do you post content at all?
I used to when he was little before I knew more about it. And just simply because, I have family all over the world and friends all over the world. And it was an easy way to stay connected and they could see him grow up and just be part of our lives without having the calls and all the check-ins. But the older he got, so I think I stopped doing it after 11, I think, because he became a personality and he's no, I don't like that video of me, and when I tried to sneak it he got upset. So I'm like, okay, this is valid, he has valid opinions and he absolutely has a say in his digital footprint. So I stopped altogether. Now it's just the really really big moments, like he wants something for football or trophy or huge wins for soccer, then I do it. But I ask him first if that okay to share. And then I also go the audience. I ask like, who can I share it with? Just closest friends, a little bit more open, everybody connected with, and we talk about it openly. And I think that's a good way of doing it. So yes, I was more sharing in the beginning because every mom is, right? And then you're proud of your kid and you want to show off all the cute little moments. And now I'm a bit more reserved.
Dara, how does that differ for you for content that you are making for monetary purposes versus just general content of you like sharing like a special moment or just generally about like your life?
Kind of like Yana, I ask my son when I get a campaign or someone wants to work with me, I say, hey, like, do you want to do this? They want you in the campaign. I kind of outline, give him and if he says yes, obviously he's like, well, where's my cut? Like he wants a slice of the money. And so I will ask him before I accept a campaign. I also will ask for more money because you're not only just getting me and paying for me, but you're paying for my child. So that way I can give him, some money. So, but then like I've actually kind of similar to Yana, like started to phase him out a little less and ask him a little more. Cause I mean, it's starting at 10 earlier. He's like, ew, like, don't do that. Don't post that. Ew, like, stop taking photos of me. Stop, filming me. So a lot of you might see his arm and stuff, unless a brand kind of requests him in the photo. And actually, brands are really good about if your child is in the photo, you have to also be in the photo. You have to be in the frame if they're filming.
Good.
It can never be. I've never worked with a company that has allowed a child to be in the frame without the parent also being in the frame.
I love that. Anytime you get a campaign like that, Dara, please send the name of the organization over to us, because we just also, as FOSI, just like to compliment like companies who are doing that. That's something that we just value very much. So like, children are citizens, they have rights, and like their digital footprint is important and their agency is important, and respecting that, especially through brand campaigns. I love that they're making sure that like, hey, the parent is there, you are giving consent. It's not just like you using your kid to make money or anything like that. Like, it's a decision that he's allowed to make. As an almost 10-year-old, it is wild to say that out loud.
I know.
So let's dive into some other conversations here. Jana, you're just posting content for the sake of posting content. Like, it's not
Very minimal.
right. And Dara, you actually, you are a full-time employee doing work outside of creating your content. So especially as a single parent, how are you balancing working full-time, taking care of your kid, and then like, as this audience knows, that like, parenting in the physical world on top of parenting online, it's two very different components, but they're also very both time consuming. You have a co-parent element that's to that. So like, there's like multiple people or situations in a way that you are managing in order to make your son feel safe online, feel safe in the real life, feel supported, feel valued, has agency. Like, the rules that you are building for your household and for your son, how do you replicate that at a different household with your co-parent? Like, do you all have like a written outline for the, like, what does that kind of look like?
I'm going to be fully transparent. It's still like a working progress, but we have two completely different households. It's just very different. I am very active and involved, very much a co-pilot. And my co-parent is very much, I'm the parent. This is what I say. This is what I do. You're a child. You're not going to be, involved in a lot of decision making. Now, I will say over the years, things that he's kind of become more open. But I think that's the way he grew up. And my parents, they were very open as well. And so I grew up different than him. So it's something we're still navigating, and that's okay. It used to really stress me out that we had two different households, because, I'm mental, emotional, and behavioral health specialist. So I know the impact that when children are having to like kind of split their personalities and split their lives, it can be a lot. But I will say that, I pick my battles. That's the one thing. You got to pick your battles. Not everything is worth the battle as it comes to digital parenting. I think that we both kind of have this understanding of making sure we're checking the phone, making sure we're checking in with him, making sure that we're kind of on the same page with that. So his father bought the phone. I didn't buy the phone. If it was up to me, my son would not have a phone.
Wait, he has a phone?
He has a whole phone.
And it works. Like, he can call.
And he calls and he FaceTimes and he is in group chats and, with my family, with his friends. Like, yeah, it's wild.
I'm so sorry. How long has this been going on, and why hasn't Auntie gotten a phone call? Like, I'm more like, this is more a selfish thing. Like, what in the world?
I will tell him to call you. But yeah, so it was actually very much, I didn't want it. I don't think that he was ready for a phone. I didn't get a phone until I was going into high school. And I only got a phone probably because I was, traveling. My high school was far from my home. And so I just was very nervous about that. And that's why I'm on it all the time. And I'm like, hey, let's have conversations about it all the time. If I want him to feel open to have conversations out in the living room, we're a living room family. to the T. When they can come, in the living room and have a FaceTime with their friends, it shows that they trust you and they feel comfortable enough to have conversations out in the open, because they're not, I won't say doing anything wrong, but they're comfortable with what they're doing. So I always talk to the other parent about making sure like he's checking the phone, because it's not my phone. I don't pay the bill, he pays the bill. But I always remind him gently, like, hey, make sure you're checking in on what our child is doing. And I have to overcompensate when he's at my house about having those digital conversations. Like, I have them all the time, so that way it can carry in to when he's at his dad's house.
I want to pull in Jana for a second, but like I want to like add to what you just said. So it's not the phone that you are paying for, so you like don't feel like you can like be a part of what's happening on the phone, or like I just want you to expand on that.
No, I just feel like when it comes to like taking the phone away or dictating, it's kind of tricky. Like, I just don't like, if there's a concept, my son's really a good kid, so I never really have to take the phone away. But there are kind of limits to time use, and
Right.
that's something I've expressed. But I just feel like I can't like take it up to my room and have it, or cut it all the way off. I'm still navigating. It's something new. I'm actually getting more comfortable with being able to say, like, communicate with the other parent, saying, hey, like, just so you know, like, at 8:00 the phone gets turned off, so don't try and contact him. Or obviously the school has rules where you can't have your phone out, so that's just a rule across the board. But I can't dictate who he's talking to as far as like the other parent's family. We haven't really had issues with that, but sometimes he has friends over at his dad's house that I don't know, which sometimes makes me a little like uncomfortable, because I'm like, well, I don't know these people. When he's at my house, all the friends he talks to, from school, I know all their parents, I know them. But then it gets kind of tricky when you have someone going to another environment, meeting other people, if that makes sense.
That's a layer of digital co-parenting that I just wouldn't have thought of, where your agency as his mom is essentially like taken away, because like that's his household, that's still his kid. He can get him a phone, a tablet, whatever. But like there was no conversation with you before just handing your 9-year-old a smartphone, which like, like here we study so many things about like just handing kids phones, like handing anyone a phone, right? Is it brand new? Has it been wiped? Like all of the questions that like you would have as a mom, I would also just have just as a person that works as at FOSI, right? Like 9-year-old age is like one thing, but also like, does a 9-year-old actually need a smartphone is a huge conversation that's like constantly being had in states, internationally, like everywhere, as you all know. So I'm fascinated by that, and I want to have you back so we can like dive more into that, because I just would have never thought about that. Jana, when did your son get a phone, and was there like a reason for it?
So you're not gonna like my answer, because he has had a phone since he's 5. Because there was a time when I was co-parenting, and it was quite the opposite. So for him to feel safe and connected when he was not with me was being able to contact me at all times, and for me also to be able to contact him. And there was a clear understanding between him and me. Your friends will not have phones. This is not something you advertise, you talk about. This is just for your protection, so you have to be very responsible with it. And it worked, and it gave him a level of responsibility, independence, and security that I don't think before phones would have. I'm not sure how he would have been able to achieve that. So I'm very opposite of that. So since he was 5, he had a full access phone with everything, with the main numbers saved. And I often got calls in the middle of the night when he was, when he missed mommy, or he wasn't comfortable in his environment, and I was able to help. So a little bit different perspective. So phones can be a very useful help if you are not growing up in a normal, family, two parties at home environment.
I agree.
The word normal in 2026 is very loose. So like it's your normal. So like it's not, there is no normal. Like 9-year-olds have smartphones, 5-year-olds have smartphones. There are 18-year-olds who have never had a smartphone before in their life. Like, like it's just however you decide to digital parent. We're going to need to have another one of these conversations because there's so much more to dive into. This was super enlightening for me because whenever I make the decision for my kids, like you need a phone, it's a conversation that I'm obviously going to have with my partner, but in a way that like, hey, I want them to have a phone. Like I feel like I lead the conversation as the like primary digital parent, and it's like never a no. It's just always like, okay, well, what about this? What about this? Like helping me think about the reasons why something I may not be thinking about, right? Where like, Jana, you have the agency to make those decisions solo, but that can also be a burden in some avenues.
And I want to add something really quick. It's not that my co-parent has ever said anything to me about the phone, it's just we are on this road to just kind of rebuilding trust and rebuilding respect. And I always want to emulate that respect to my child, that I do respect, the other co-parent, even if I have my own personal issues with the co-parent. So it's more so like that's your property that you're paying for. And I want to be able to respect and not limit, because I wouldn't want the same thing. I wouldn't want to be limited as well. But I agree 1000%. The biggest pro about him having a phone, which has kind of like diminished any other con, is just being able to contact him.
Yep.
He's at his co-parent's house right now. And last night he texted me and was like, hey mom, like I miss you.
Aww.
And it's just so nice for him to be able to reach out to me without having to go through the other co-parent.
Yeah.
But my son has known my number since 2 years old. He has memorized it since 2 years old. I'll get calls and I'll like when he was younger and I'll say hello. I'm like, hi mommy, it's me. Like, and I was like, oh, like you called my number. But I did that on purpose because I wanted him to always, even though he didn't have a phone, he knew my number and he could always ask anybody to call me if he ever needed anything.
No, that's very smart.
Yeah.
Amazing. We have so many other things that we need to get through, but our junior producer is telling me that we are out of time. So I will have you all back. Yes, I know she cuts us off. Isn't that wild? She's giving me a look. So I would love to leave the audience with something. And Jana and Dara, honestly, I look at you all as mentors, even though I am a firewall myself. I am. I'm just like it's just my personality, as I have said in an earlier episode, that I just like, that is my way of being able to ease things in. I start with not now. And once I start to get comfortable, start to give them, their own agency and telling me why they want to do certain things. So that is how I'm building trust for now. As they age, I'm sure it's going to change. And you all have very open conversations with your kids, regardless of how old they are. So for the parents that are struggling to have conversations with their kids for whatever reason it is, what can they do to digitally create trust? Like, is there a movie or a show that you all do with your kids that you can recommend to those parents who are like, hey, I want to be involved in my kids' digital life, but telling me to have a conversation is probably not the only tip that they need?
I can go first. For me, it was very helpful to just have something I can fall back on, like open-ended questions. So I think I mentioned this before. It's not just like, how was school? Fine. It was like, which class did you like best today and why? Just forcing yourself to make that and start conversations, and then you can get it like, who did you hang out with today? What did you like best about it? What did you watch together? Just forcing. It's work. It doesn't come easy. We're all busy, but this is a way to help conversations going, and especially with teenagers.
What do you guys watch together, Jana? Is there a show or a game that you all play?
we like to play Connect 4. That was our game. It was like just on the couch together, like really quick. And then when we went to restaurants together to put, phones and iPads away and to force conversation, Uno. I always have a pack of Uno with me and we just play that. And then often on the phone, there is, I think you call it tic-tac-toe. That is such a simple game that you can just play together on a dinner table when you're out to eat, in a restaurant waiting for food. And it's simple and you can laugh and you always have it with you. So small things that just makes you connect. You don't always have to have the big conversations, Those I find come easy when we just take a walk somewhere. They're just not sitting across from each other and now let's talk. When you do actually something else, then those conversations come a little bit easier.
I love that. What about you, Dara?
I would say we have a couple of different things. I know this is very, very old, but the Wii we still have our Wii, and our favorite game, which is funny because the movie just released, was Michael Jackson. We know all the moves and all the dances to Michael Jackson. Now the Wii moves a little bit slower because it's an older game system, but we do love that. And then also lately, so my son has been really into Duolingo.
Oh,
And on Duolingo, they have chess. Like you can now not only learn languages, but you can learn other things. So he's learning how to play chess right now. And so I'm like, hey, if that's something he's into, let's do it together. So usually he wants to get on the phone right away, right after school. So I'm like, hey, let's do it together. So that way the first interaction he has with digital is us doing something together. Right when he gets off school, what language are we going to learn? Right now he wants to do French. He wants to go to Paris, Jordan.
Oh, I love it.
And so and he wants to learn French, so we're trying to do that, but we're also doing Duolingos. I mean, doing what do you call that? Chess. So then we have a chess board game at home. So we kind of like intermingle, because you can intermingle, digital with at home, just like you were saying board games, but then still playing tic-tac-toe on your phone. So that's something that we're really into right now. And he has a lot of 2-player games on his phone, which is fun. And he'll always ask me to play, like you just like hold the phone opposite ends and you can play like different games together. And just being interested in what your child is interested in sometimes, shows them. That's how we build trust. Me being interested in what he wants to do, like same thing with eating. Me being interested, what do you want for dinner? Because then my parent, my partner trusts my opinion and what I have to say. And I think that opens the door to conversations when they trust you.
I love that. If I had one kid, I would let them drive the food. I could not do that. But I have learned so many names of dinosaurs and I'm not finished.
Aww.
Because that is what my oldest is still into. Going strong on year 5. He loves dinosaurs. He can pronounce all the names.
That's amazing.
And I have learned to tolerate glitter and pink and tutus because of my youngest. I am not a pink girly. So yes, encourage your kids to have interests and then be interested in their interests is probably the biggest takeaway. So find a new game that you want to play with your kids online, in real life, whatever works for your kid. There is no right or wrong way to support them online or in real life. I want to thank Dara for joining us on her first Moms Off Mute. Also, by the way, Moms Off Mute spells mom. I know the podcast team has been saying this, and I'm just like going over my head, realizing what they've been saying. It spells mom, which is awesome. Like, very cool. Not intentional. But
yes, it was intentional. Thank you.
Jana is also our creative director, so there's that. But anywho's, Jana, thanks again for joining us. I really appreciate you all for joining us for season 2, episode 7. Dara, please come back. This was so fun. We need to have a part 2 of all of these conversations. Jana, download duets.
Yes.
Get out there. Dara, best of luck with this new smitten situation. I'm Jordan. This is Moms Off Mute. Please like, review, share, subscribe, all the things wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to know more about online safety, please join us at fosi.org. If you want to join us on this podcast, you can email press@fosi.org. That's FOSI.org. Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.
This podcast is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional advice, including medical, mental health, or legal guidance. The views expressed by hosts and or guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of the Family Online Safety Institute, otherwise known as FOSI. Guest contributions are based on personal experience and are not intended as professional guidance. Any mention of products, services, organizations, or tools is for discussion purposes only and does not constitute an endorsement by the Family Online Safety Institute